Uy, esta tipa. Ah, es Skirk. Ah. Ah, también tiene poderes abismales como Dainsleff.
Sí.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually,
Como que
I had a
mascota.
feeling that it would happen at some point, but
Sí.
they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression
Para
that
que
she was
Toilet se haya sorprendido con sus poderes que está roto.
talkative person.
I simply
Sí.
did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world. So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Sí.
Miss Skirk? I think you might
¿Quién
have
es
missed
el
the point.
verdadero,
¿Quién es
la
el-
verdadera
The
persona
quién
point
es el
de todo esto?
being,
dueño?
Well,
¿Quién
being
es el
that
dueño?
this pet almost destroyed
¿De
an
dónde
entire
proviene el
nation.
poder de Child? ¿Cómo se llama?
So what sort of person is your master?
Supongo que todo esto es
Well,
energía
Child's
abismal, yo sé.
master's master.
No, pero ¿cómo se llama el poder de Child?
Oh,
¿El
right.
engaño?
So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did.
Sí.
His name is
Exacto.
Sertology.
Surtaloy, ¿este quién es?
Huh?
De-
I am unfamiliar with
Hasta
that
ni
name.
niveles lo conocen.
Huh.
de Fa-
So Master is insufficiently famous. How should I describe him
poder
then?
El
Child es Faust.
engaño de Thor.
Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
The fowl?
Sí.
Still
Por algo
nothing?
puede-
Well, how about The Visionary?
Eh.
Vetterfalnir then?
Este sí.
Or Gold Rhine-Daughter?
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine-Daughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-Daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Estamos hablando con personajes
Didn't you also
rotísimos,
mention
golpazo.
a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne.
Y sí, no todo de agua.
Pero
Pero la gente no se va a volver a convertir en agua.
Only then
ah,
will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
pero como Nuclear perdonó a todos con su poder completo como dragón. Nadie
Nadie. Mira, Dainsleff. No, es otra.
Está.
Su novia buena.
All hands initiate emergency rescue.
Oh, no.
Hurry!
No.
Hey, lend a hand.
Uy, Ferminet. ¿A todo esto dónde está el Arlequino?
Look, the water's receding.
Ah, se bajó.
It's a miracle.
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
No, sino que los perdonó. Uy, Furina.
Are you alright? We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
La paz mental que debe sentir en este momento.
Sí. Pero todavía estamos con Skirk, así que tranquilo. Ahora se viene pelea de verdad.
¿Cómo que pelea? Ah,
The soil renewed.
¿dónde
The
estamos con
Spirity Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Spirity Rasula. And with old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it. Skyship Winglet, Booner Brain of the Fontaine Research Institute. The
Me
various
encanta que le
disputes
construir
that have
eso porque
arisen on
el
account of
diluvio solo
Mr.
dura un minuto.
Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with
Cosa.
Junior turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem.
Y le construir todo esto para que el hundimiento solo dure un par de minutos. No sé cuánto tiempo estuvimos ahí.
Sí, pero era un por si acaso, igual. ¿Cómo iba a saber de
People
qué?
always
Sí.
call the
Ya,
first
ya no iba a
researcher
saber eso.
mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh?
Hmm.
The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your well-traveled eye.
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen from start to finish? What's there to be curious about?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the
Mhm.
best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that Duke.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times already?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip to the fortress. There are some things you'll only know when you get there.
Encanto, ¿qué es eso? Ah, el recuerdito.
Sí, ese es un pedazo de Nashra.
¿Qué haces? Tenemos que ir. No, déjame. Uy, no es una constelación. Perdónanos por todo, Furina.
Actuaste tan bien que te odié.
¿Mm?
Actuó tan bien que me hizo odiarlo.
Sí, pues no lo odiaba de manera no irónica.
Sí. Es que me llegaba que fuera prepotente. El problema no era Furina, el problema es la gente de Fontaine.
Sí.
Entonces, con eso, momento pausa.
Oh, it's you. What brings you all here?
El problema de que Furina fuera así era de que la gente de Fontaine quería que fuera así. Entonces,
Sí.
en resumen, es justo decir de que los causantes de todo este problema, de que odiara a Furina, son la gente de Fontaine. Entonces, está justificado el racismo contra Francia.
Sí. Malditos franceses reinaron Francia.
Hey, we're just having a look around.
Es un
I'm here
fatui,
to
¿no?
update myself on how things are going here. Hmm? Oh, the Fatui are here too.
Mm.
Porque
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represented the Knave in sending us a large amount of supplies, and is helping with our work. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but we're moving forward. That will have to be enough.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats.
Porque tiene voz de
But if you
acosador.
don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the Spina.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as friendly neighbors?
That would be fine.
Pero es
Thanks.
cierto, los fatuis acá tuvieron ahora tienen buenas
you're
relaciones
back
políticas
too.
con Fontaine.
How are things?
Sí,
We
obvio.
finished laying down the construction
O sea,
materials.
eso les va a venir muy bien, aunque el resto del
It'll
mundo
be
igual los
another
odia.
hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Sí, es que depende.
You're here too, Clarence?
Well, her reputation's greatly
Es que
risen
creo
after
que
that
más
whole
todo
duel business with
se
Miss
encarga.
Furina.
Mm.
So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat.
Porque podemos ver, Charles no fue tan, o sea,
All
un
right,
poco
all right. She
tan
really
malo.
came here to help me out.
Y Nave
There's too much to
también.
consider in the
Los demás se han
reconstruction of
sido
Poisson.
unos locos.
The Spina has need of more decision makers. And,
En resumen,
I do already happen to be connected to
juzgué
Mr.
mal a
Paris.
Arlequino también.
Oh, wait
Sí.
just a moment. Do you mind me asking
Verdaderamente
a few questions? You
es
know, about how
mala
you felt before the
tan-
duel. About what it was like facing down
Es
a
mala
god.
con el resto
There's
del mundo.
lots of
Pero
exciting material there, I bet.
Forget it. I'm
¿Cómo se
sure you
dice
can
eso?
find a better theme
¿Nacionalista?
than that, Miss
Nacionalista.
Charlotte.
A su patria la quiero
I
mucho,
see
pero el
you're
resto
the
del mundo la
same as
odia.
always. Couldn't you do me a favor for Navia's sake?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Chlorand at any rate.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up and smile.
Sonríamos.
Sí. Pero cómo sonreír después de todo eso.
Let's
Cierto,
take a
no.
shot to Paimon the
Y
cute
no está
Llora.
sonriendo.
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All
Grande.
right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
Zapato.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the key. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you after all, Miss Clorand.
Wow, you really do have that never say die spirit. I'm impressed.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Maripede.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too.
Hmm.
I asked Sijuin who told Monsieur Nervillet, and he told you, right?
That's a very complete information chain.
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media?
I told him that it was best not
Te
to speak
quité.
too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridsley will make a personal appearance.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move first.
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea in exchange.
Demasiado obsesivo. Pero
Ah,
bueno,
Nos quiero Fortaleza.
sí, tienes que hablar con todos los involucrados.
Quiero ir con Furina.
¿Sabes una cosa?
Quiero ir con Furina.
¿Sabes lo,
No con eso.
¿Sabes lo más triste?
Wow, guess we're here again, huh?
Más
There's a
triste
real
de esta...
nostalgic feeling to this place.
Como que qué chingo.
Looks like you've been missing us.
¿Sabes cuál es lo más, cuál es
Did
lo
you
más
run
triste
all
de
the
este
way to the
final?
entrance to greet
Lo
us?
más triste.
No vas a hablar con Furina.
¿Cómo que no?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head
Ya
nurse
es muy tarde.
recommended to me.
It's an honor to
Okay,
finally
okay.
meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consenting to my visit to the fortress, sir.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you recall our agreement?
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. I've already taken all the photos we need. Miss Charlotte,
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier,
Sir, please don't say things like that.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very important to you then?
No, I just... This is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very thankful to the Steambird for...
now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that genius vibe going on. The boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of legend.
Nice.
Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another exclusive scoop.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that long?
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple?
Mentiroso.
Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try this new drink I came up with?
Es Igor.
Ah, Siegeween.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, take some pretty photos of our head nurse? Sure. Come on, Miss Siegeween. Over this way. Let's find a brighter spot. Huh?
Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the fortress?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jurier? Miss Lorvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun. Not that you would want that, which is a pity.
¿Sabes qué
I'll just leave the
está
spotlight.
jodiendo a ti? Está intentando meter todo el focus a que esté en ellos dos como los creadores, que así no le meta una entrevista.
Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news
Cierto.
and
¿Dónde
bad
mandaron
news.
al Tartas?
The good being that their boss seems fine.
Ah.
Bad being that they must
Mandaron al
face extended
abismo.
sentences for abetting his escape.
Se va a regresar con un power-up.
Oh, actually, what about you?
No sé.
Que la primera vez que fue él era un chibolito normal y de nada fue un
What
terrible.
change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Furina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the
Pero no
folks in the
tenemos su visión.
overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Te lo dije, ¿ves? Es por eso que es
Good.
muy tarde.
In
Furina
that
se
case,
fue
let's
de...
call it a day here.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, traveler, let's go. Till next time, everyone.
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory next time. All right, last stop, the docks.
Ask away.
A la mina.
Bueno, es por eso que te dejé perro Furina, porque al parecer se largó.
The sun feels almost as hot as those studio lights I'm in front of all the time. Good thing there can only be one sun.
Ay, pobrecito. Esas fresas me da... Todas sus fresas ahora me dan pena.
Es hora de despedirse, no...
They really are here! How did you know?
¿Cómo sabrá?
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole time since.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could trick a friend into doing it for you.
Trick a friend? I wonder which of my friends would fall for that.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by, I'll help you make some more friends?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Sure. Please, write down my address.
You sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater escape magic to him too.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Sure.
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our show eventually.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she...
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something to say to you. So, how have things been, Traveler? Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
That's all right. We were more than happy to help. So, what's she doing now?
Evadiendo impuestos.
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. Well, after Lady Furina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
Ay, no fregues.
A diplomatic
Adiós, no, sí.
Me encanta que siempre...
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it
Lamentablemente,
over,
pero
there were
no
actually a number of
no
things
pueden
going for
felicitar de
it.
que los país tengan una gnosis.
Me encanta que siempre hacemos lo imposible y al final les dan las gnosis nomás. Dice, toma papi.
Sí.
It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit irresponsible?
Pero es que sí.
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Neuvillette has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
So there's some reason for this that only Neuvillette knows about?
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which,
Isn't he real busy and stuff? like you'd have the time for that. But back to the topic. The Gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
Sí. Estuvo peleando un mes.
Pobrecito.
¿Sabes qué es lo peor? No tenía su gnosis. Digo, su visión.
Shocked by such a
Todo
simple
era
switching of
full.
sides? Father.
Queen.
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks. Switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever? As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Charlotte le va dando un aumento
Hello.
de tanta gente que...
If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Eh,
I shall
Arlequín.
continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell. Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This will be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met too. And what do you know? I'm doing the exact same thing right now. So many things have happened, but the pockets are still the pockets. I guess this must be life. We'll all follow our own paths, and serendipity will lead you to your fated friends. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so we'll get going now. Have a good day, you two.
Well, guess we sent Charlotte, huh? Should we go see what Niblett's doing?
La última parte ya es esta. Después es Rakis Mechanic Canalic Cardin.
Ooh, he really is there!
El nuevo Conte, bueno, Dark Conte, pero...
Por fin, ahora sí es Arcon.
Bueno, únicamente... Pero únicamente el nuevo...
Really?
El nuevo mandatario,
Oh,
algo
I
así.
suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Sí, como que leíste la noticia.
Remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all.
Este punto no sé si es
Alright,
malo
let's have
que
it
las
then.
gnosis los...
How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the mystery to us.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
That's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontainians from dissolving.
For me,
Tenía control.
the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontainians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Focalor
Te lo
must
dije.
have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Ask away. Ya, empecemos desde arriba.
I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association, or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Focalor had Fontainians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans.
Oh, wait.
Hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got another question. Back when
Ask away.
Fontainians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontainians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on as a local custom.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth
Ask
as I know.
away. Ask away. Fontaine's future.
No quiero saber de Natlan primero.
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the Knave that I believe may be useful to you.
¿Quién
The
está ahí?
harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
Sí.
Sounds like a real
No lo conozco, pero ¿qué hace?
Seriously, everyone you
Oye, pero los leaks dijeron que Sandrone también iba a estar acá donde está.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to
Sandrone
Natlan.
dijeron que iba a estar también
In the
en Fontaine,
meantime,
pero no lo vi.
Fontaine's doors will always be open to you.
Bueno, recuerda que todavía falta una zona.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right.
¿Y por qué la dio?
The name as a diplomatic gift or something.
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis' power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to child.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Este lo dije. Ask away.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Furina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Furina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex, huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Udex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away.
Ask away.
I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon's still got a question about the Gnosis.
Okay.
When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
¿Qué crees que es?
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true.
Pero ¿quién
After
trascende
Focalor's
ese-
divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. but I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts.
Creo que tiene algo
And
que
my
ver
reason for
con,
no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This
Lumin.
third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next
Sí.
time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? I can be the messenger then?
Pero ahí sabremos quién es el tercer descendiente y de dónde vienen las notas.
Whether it would prove useful or not.
Puede ser que están los...
information on to you.
Pausa.
So that's what the gnosis actually are.
Podría ser de que...
They look like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
Podría ser de que sean los restos del poder de... Bueno, en este caso de Ether. Porque el poder del...
El gemelo que tú no eliges no cuenta, era parte del mundo y no cuenta como caído.
¿Qué cosa?
No, que el gemelo que tú no elegías no contaba como parte del mundo, sino como... O sea, cortaba como parte del mundo, pero no como tú que no eres de este mundo.
Es raro, pero técnicamente el Traveler, o por lo menos el que tú eliges, es el cuarto descendiente. Mira, ahorita lo voy a decir. Continúa.
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or
No sé en verdad, creo que puede estar equivocado. Puede ser que sea otro descendiente.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here. I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility, right? No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creepy. Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all.
Pero ¿quién es el tercero entonces? Porque no estoy seguro si sea...
Porque dicen que está muerto. Dicen que está muerto, así que no sé el juego.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Que lo que estemos viendo sea lo controlado por la deidad conocida.
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
No, pero esa era la justicia.
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
Este es el final. Y ahora, para el siguiente capítulo, tendremos un nuevo lore. Porque tendremos ahora la historia de Furina. ¿Qué pasó después de todo esto? ¿Cómo sigue ella? ¿Tiene depresión? Posiblemente sí.
Lo averiguaremos en el próximo capítulo de Genshin. Espero les haya gustado porque a mí sinceramente esto me pareció increíblemente increíble. Ese bueno.
Sí, en verdad fue increíble.
Genshin,
Ahora,
Genshin este
mira
último
las
año.
misiones. Mira las misiones que tiene. Bueno, las históricas.
Ahora bien, no hice ninguno.
Bueno, pronto haremos
se viene
la de
desde-
Furina.
Sí.
Y veremos cómo es que consiguió su visión.
Entonces, espero les haya gustado el video, chicos. Perdonen que no puedo hablar tan alto, que ya todos en mi casita están durmiendo, así que yo también tengo que hablar bajito. Pero intentaré hacer el video corto, dividirlo en varias partes para hacerlo más corto y no darles una película de video. Así que nos vemos en...
¿Cuánto tiempo hemos estado grabando?
Estamos acá desde las 7.
3 horas. Wow.
Sí, aunque se lo verán más cortito, pero espero les haya gustado y nos vemos en siguientes videos. Que ya pronto viene lo del Doom y de repente les traigo uno de Little Company. Que veo que
Sí.
está muy chistoso, pero nos vemos.
Lo de Doom ya cuando salga de vacaciones. Pero ya.
Sí. Y nos vemos. Hasta la próxima.